All right, what's up, everyone? Let's talk about follow-up. How many follow-ups do you have to perform in order to get a deal in the surplus funds business? The answer to that varies because here's the thing. Every case is going to be different. You may have some people that are ready to sign up today, and maybe you have to perform zero follow-up to get them to sign up for your services. And then you've got other people that they just need a little bit more follow-up, a little more persistence on your end. You need to remind them, hey, there's this money sitting for you. Would you like to claim it? So let me share with you a real life example of a recent deal that just signed yesterday. Okay. And I want to walk you through how many follow-ups it took. Okay. So you should be able to see on your screen, this is inside the current system that me and my team use right now to conduct automated follow-up processes. Okay. And I'll get more into that in a minute and what that means. But here's a lead that came in. We sent the initial paperwork to them on May 16th of this year. Okay. Later on, it's actually kind of, we probably took too long to follow up on this, to be honest with you. Because as I'm looking at this, I see that we didn't follow up until about June 5th, which is way too long, in my opinion, actually. As I'm looking at this, I'm like, why did it take that long? So that's something that I'll talk to my team about. But we sent out paperwork on the 16th. Then we started sending follow-ups around June 5th. Okay, so you can see here we sent a voicemail on June 5th. And I won't play this whole thing, but I'll play a little bit for you. Okay, hopefully you
Hey,
can
this
hear it.
is Katie with Overage Refund Specialists. I was just wanting to follow up about the paperwork that we had emailed to you regarding claiming the surplus funds from the property that sold at auction.
Okay, so there's a little snippet of the email or the voicemail that goes out. And then you can see that same day, a little while later, we sent a text message. Now, here is the key. All of the follow-ups you see here were done automatically using this system. And that's very important because when I first started doing this business, I would do all of this manually, meaning I would prospect, I would try to contact people manually. And then once I had actually talked to someone, I had to perform my follow-ups manually. And it was extremely time consuming. Okay. Now in 2023 and moving forward, there is technology available to us where we can automate the follow-up process. And that's very, very important because that saves you time. And if you save time, you save money and you make more money, bottom line, right? So let me walk you through how many follow-ups it took before this person actually signed. Okay. So we sent ringless voicemail and a text on June 5th. A couple days later, June 7th, we sent them an email. Okay. A few days after that, on June 12th, we sent another voicemail and then an email and a text on that day. Several days after that, on June 19th, same thing, voicemail, email, text. That was on June 19th. Then about 5 days later, June 26th, again, voicemail, email, text. And then finally on July 3rd, we did another follow-up. And then you can see they finally responded, I'm sending it all today. And then we were able to walk her through the DocuSign process. And she also sent in all her stuff, like her ID and stuff like that. Okay. So that's a real life example of a real life deal. Paperwork went out on May 16th. Person didn't sign until July 3rd. Okay. Are all cases like that? No, they're not. But the bottom line is you need to have a system in place, whether it's an individual or a software or something, so that you have a follow-up process that is automated. Okay. Now, you can still manually follow up with folks, but then you just have to juggle your prospecting with your follow-up, and it will be time consuming, but it will, you got to do what you got to do, right? Depending on your situation. Okay. So in the end, for this particular case, after we sent them paperwork, we had to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days worth of follow-ups. Okay. And if we break that down into individual follow-ups as far as text message, emails, ringless voicemails, we sent a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different messages between 3 different formats: email, voicemail, text message. Okay. 15 different messages. A lot of follow-up, right? There's some statistics out there that say, the average, in order to close an average deal, takes about 7 follow-ups, 7 touch points, they say. Sometimes it takes more than that. Sometimes it takes less than that. But just ask yourself the question, in your business, in your surplus funds business, or in any business really, do you have an automated follow-up process for people that you talk to, for potential customers? If the answer is no, you are probably losing on a lot of money. Okay. So I wanted to share that case study with you of an actual deal and talk about following up with folks, because once you finally, guys, this business is freaking hard. Okay. Because not only do you have to find the person, but then once you find them, you have to help them understand that it's not too good to be true and that it's real. And then after all that, once you've completed those things, once you've actually found them and they believe you, then you have to follow up with them. Okay. And so the more that you can automate so that you are not doing all 3 of those things yourself, the better. Okay. It could be a person that's manually doing it. Hopefully it's just not you doing it. Now, if you're in the beginning and you're in startup phase, yeah, you may have to do all 3 of those on your own. I had to, but that's not a bad thing in the beginning, because if you learn those things, then you are able to train somebody to do them for you. Okay. And I share with you some of the resources that I have, some of the team members that I have that I've trained, okay, that are in the course. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, let me ask you this question. If I showed you how I've set up these processes, like this follow-up, would you be interested in learning that? Would you be interested in being able to look behind the curtain into my current business today as it is in 2023? And would you be interested in learning about the processes that I've set up for follow-ups, for getting leads? Would that be of interest to you? If that would be of interest to you, let me know down below. Type something in the comments, say yes, or I'm interested. And maybe I'll have a training later this month or next month. And I'll do a live training showing you some of these platforms, systems, and softwares that we have in my business so that you can implement them in yours as well. If that would interest you, let me know. That's all I've got for you today. Recap. Try to have an automated follow-up process in your business. It could be a person that does it for you, or it could be a software, okay? Technology, or it could be both, right? If you will implement that, your chances of converting more of your leads to actual deals and actually getting paid on more of your leads will increase dramatically, okay? That's it. That's all I've got for you today. I appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you later.